Recording and reading.
Hello everyone. So my name is Amandeep Kaur. I am a Masters of Mathematics student specializing in computer science at University of Waterloo. I joined this program in fall 22. So now it's roughly like 9 months into the program and into the Canadian lifestyle. Today, this video I'm making to make you understand how has life been in these past 9 months. What all were the challenges? What are some viewpoints that you have to keep in mind before you come to Canada, to a new place, I would say. Uh, I'll today focus entirely on Canada and especially the Ontario region because that's what I have experience in, right? So let's start the journey. I landed in Canada on 13th August and I stayed with my relatives for a couple of days. So what I would suggest is that whenever you reach a new country, for example, Canada, and you're especially coming from Toronto, Pearson Airport, there are services in the airport, for example, your SIN number, and you should definitely apply for it ASAP, right? SIN number is something, social insurance number, which is something which will be used by your employers to track a lot of financial activities from your account. So whenever you'll be going for any kind of employment, they will ask for your SIN number. And your SIN number would be associated with your bank account. So this is a very important number. It should not be shared with anybody, right? If it's not possible, like you're not able to get it on arrival from on Toronto, you should definitely get it from Service Canada or Service Ontario, whichever suits you. But do not apply for the online version of it because I did that mistake. So I applied online and it took me approximately like 2 to 3 weeks for the SIN number to apply, for the SIN number to come to my address. So it's better to get it on the spot. So I come from University of Waterloo, and usually universities keep clinics for SIN clinic, for example, and there also you can submit your documents and get it on the spot. So I would suggest you to go for that ASAP, right? The moment you enter Canada. Second thing, get your SIM card. Basically, there are a lot of phone carriers that are available, like Fido, Rogers, and then Chatter, and other factors as well. I personally use Fido, but there is no way, like I'm telling you, that you should use Fido. Fido has like a good data limit and good opportunities. It gives you like good plans. So I found that this was good as compared to some of my friends who use some other phone carriers. I found that Fido, my signals were pretty good. Signals from Fido were pretty good, even in the areas which are not that much like network oriented and things like that. So definitely get your SIN number and your SIM card, definitely. The moment you enter Canada, after like 1 or 2 days, you should, or even if you have time that day, you should apply for a bank account ASAP, right? Because you should, everything here is like, so we don't carry cash. That's one thing. If you come from a country like India, where a lot of our transactions are done through cash or debit card, here the system is more of credit cards and debit cards instead of cash. Like I don't carry cash. It no one, like people accept it. Every place would accept it, but it's very convenient to use Interact. Interact is something which is like through your mobile phone. It's like an online internet banking where you can like transfer funds from your account to any other person's account free of charges. So it's like pretty good. So you should definitely get your bank account ID ASAP. Also, when you're opening your bank account, you should open two accounts. First is check-in, the second one is savings. Okay, why I say this is because you will use checking on a day-to-day basis, but you should use your savings only for saving your money. For example, how I do it is like 90% of my money that's there in my account is in my savings account, and I don't touch it more. Okay, I do not do any kind of transactions from that account. It's just for my savings. The second account is the checking account, which has like 10% of my money, and I use that checking account for all day to day activities. Because think about it in this way, right? You will go to hundred of places in the day, for example, in the month, and it's better to have an account which has less money, so that you can use that money everywhere, right? That account everywhere, and you'll actually save yourself from any kind of fraud as well. So that is my suggestion to you. Open two accounts, savings and check-in, and use check-in for all the day-to-day activities. The second point is that of credit card. The moment you apply for your so that's why I told you to get your sin number, because usually the bank people would ask you for your sin number so that they can verify certain aspects. The problem that happened with me was that I did not get my sin number in the first go, but I applied for my bank account. So that kind of created a delay in me getting my credit card. Okay. So I would suggest you not to do that. Get your SIN number, then apply for your bank account, link your bank and your SIN number so that your credit card and debit card things would be easy. So I think that you get your debit card on the spot. That is something. Your credit card takes at least 2 to 3 weeks, so make sure that whatever bank you have like applied for, the address that you give is correct, because your credit card will be delivered at that address only. And if you're not there, then it might go back, bounce back, or something like that. The best part I would say is that if you're coming to a university and your university has some kind of a bank, for example, University of Waterloo has CIBC Bank, and I have account in that, you can actually provide that bank's address to the credit card company, in the sense that they will ask you for a mailing address, right? I would suggest you to like put that as your University of Waterloo's or your university's bank account, so that it's like safe. So I did that. Okay. And they just ask for your ID proof when they'll mail you that this package has arrived for you, the credit card, and then you can just pick it up. It's safe, and like you'll be like, okay, you'll be like not having that fear in your mind that if I move from one place to another, how would I like would there be any consequences if I like miss it out? So I would suggest that thing to you, right? The bank account is done, credit card is done. You also need to maintain your credit history, credit score basically. So I do all of my transactions through my credit card, and then after every 15th day basically, or 15th of the month, I basically clear out all my credit history, in the sense that I pay out all my credit balances. So that is also very important to do. Otherwise you'll get some kind of a interest rate that you will have to be imposed on. So just make sure that you don't do that, right? So I talked about the bank thingy, I talked about the sin. You should also like definitely, if you're coming from India, I can tell you about Indian scenarios because I come from India. But if you're coming from India, you should definitely get your driving license extract. Now what DL extract is, that it gives you, it's a document that your regional transportation department would give you based upon how many years or how much experience you have in driving. For example, I have 4 years of experience, so that's written in my DL extract. This could be used efficiently here. So your driving license could be so usually it's a period of 1 year from your G1 to G2. So there are like, the most important that we need to, like a normal person should know, is like three licenses. G1 is your learning license that we have usually in India, which is like a test that you have to go give. G2 is basically the actual test, the driving license test that you do, that you take up classes and then you give it on the roads, right? And then you have G, which is for your highways. For the recent, for like at least 1 or 2 months, or basically 3 4 months, you would not require G as such. So you can just apply for G and G2 definitely. And then this is the added factor, is that this G1 G2 would actually also be your Ontario, I'm not saying Ontario, basically Canada's ID for you, which is very important, because the only thing with international students as an ID is our passport. If we lose our passport, it's gonna be a hell of a mistake or hell of a job for us to find out where to approach and things like that. So getting another ID, government ID, would be a very good factor. So That is pretty awesome, I would say. So get your G1, G2, and G whenever it's possible, right? Um, so I covered that part of it. Okay. So these are all the technical aspects that you should definitely have. Especially one thing I would say in your study permit, you should look for specific lines that they should allow you employment in campus, on campus, off campus. There is a specific limit. I'm not sure of that, but you should make sure that your study permit has that sentence. Only then you will be able to like apply for part-time jobs here, part-time or full-time or any kind of jobs, right? So because we are coming as a student on student visa, will not have work permit till the time we are not graduated. So you need to have that work related sentence in your study permit so that you will be able to like do that. Apart from that, when I told I talked a little bit about part-time jobs. So I myself am doing like a TA as well as an RA. So these are the two things that are like covering my tuition costs and everything. I have a lot of friends who work part-time in restaurants basically, and that is totally fine. So one thing I realized is that when you are coming as an international student, you do not have a lot of financial support. So you have to manage your own expenses. That means that you will get to know how to manage your expenses, because when the bills will be coming, you will be knowing that okay, I need to spend less on this part, I need to spend more on that part, I need to work this part and things like that. So getting a part-time job, I would say at University of Waterloo is comparatively easy. You should apply early. You should apply ASAP early, right? Because I think you can get services in food services department. They pay you a good wage amount. It's not as compared to TA and RA, but it's something that you can like manage your expenses with. Secondly, you'll also have your GIC coming, so that should also be a good factor to cover up your I would say expenses. But definitely one thing I have found out is that a lot of my friends work in food services, a lot of my friends work in other departments, maybe library and things like that. Every person is fighting their own battles. Never ever judge a person for the type of work they do. That's one thing that I got to know here. Like coming from India, I have seen people working in different departments, and we never used to treat them with dignity. In Canada, we treat them with equal dignity. At the end of the day, everybody is earning their living, everybody is fighting their own battles to sustain themselves, to make their finances work out. So never ever treat a person that okay, this person is working in food services, I do not have to talk to that person, he's not of my standards. That's the blunderous mistakes that a person can do. Here, every job is equal, even if you're part timing for like, some people do it for 10 hours, some people do it for 15 hours. You never know what the other person is going through. So never judge a person. That's one of my like learning that I got to know. Don't judge a person by what work they do. Secondly, I have seen people. So this is one part of one of the categories. The second category is also like, so the moment we come as an international student, especially as a Punjabi, we want an iPhone, we want an iPad, we want the best technology, we want the best cars and things like that. I would suggest hold up, bro, hold up. The point is that you should wait for at least, for all the electronic gadgets, you should wait at least for Black Friday or Black Box Day, because then you'll get deals which are pretty good. So, for example, you'll get deals if a thing costs like $500 on Black Friday, it would cost you 250, 300, things like that. Wait for that sales and then go for that. So I came with a Samsung J8, I guess. It was like the screen was like tattered and everything, but I still waited for the Black Friday to come up, and then I got my phone. And then definitely get your phones on your phone carrier thingy. So for example, I got it with my Fido. So I have a plan with Fido, and I pay like around $23 every month for my phone for 2 years. So this is a good thing about Canada, that you can get your service on finance. That's a good thing, I would suggest. And then after 2 years, if you want to like change it or like return it back, that's totally up to you. So that I would suggest you not to get anything, any electronic from India or from your native country. Get it here, because you never know the power supply and other factors here. So be prepared for that as well. Get your electronics here on sales, so that it's good. And I would suggest you is that do not earn first, right? Earn first and then spend. Like, don't do it in the sense for show off and things like that, because I know Punjabis love to show off, but that's not how life works, especially in the initial stages. Because right now we are in the grinding stage, we have to like manage our expenses and a lot of other factors. So make sure that you are doing that correctly. That's one thing about it. Secondly, take your time, do your jobs, do part-time jobs, earn some money, and then think about getting expense, finding out expenses. Because I want to get an iPad, but I think I do not have the finances to do that. So I am putting it at hold. Once I have the finances, only then I will think about getting an iPad. That's just one of the example that I gave you. So it's that part of it. So I talked about the part-time jobs. I talked about finances. I talked about how to get electronic devices. The second factor I would now touch upon is the life that I spent. Some personal experience, I would say. So the first 4 months were pretty awesome, I would say. Like, I enjoyed them pretty nicely. I made new friends. I made friends from a lot of countries, not just Indian, not just India. I made friends from Africa, from Iran, from Japan, a lot of countries. And it's pretty good because you get to know their culture, you can get to know their rituals and things like that. Definitely, I would suggest you is that when you are starting out, life is pretty chill when it comes to like the study part of it, right? The first 4 months of your grad life, of your grad or undergrad life, would be gone in adjusting to the new environment, but it will also be fun because everybody would be adjusting, everybody needs that support, so you all will be together in everything. Definitely, I would say that if your university has like clubs, international peer community clubs and things like that, definitely go meet people from other nationalities as well, and then you will like make good friends. So I think that is very important for your personal growth as well. um then I'll talk about like one educational shock that we all get. So in Indian system, we are more focused on hard working. So we are given a formula and then we are like given 10 questions to solve it. So we are so good at solving that. But the only thing that lacks in Indian education system is the applicability. So the point is that we'll be given a formula to work on, we'll be given some values to work on, but we do not know how to translate them into the real life situations. This is something that we'll be facing a lot when we work, for example, in RA that I'm working right now. Even though I was a topper, like in my mathematics, I had good scores and everything. But when you compare that education here, we lack in the applicability part of it. So we are not able to like apply the knowledge that we have to a real life situation. And it's just not the case with me, it's the case with every other international student that I have come across. And which is in part in the sense. So I would suggest that if you have time, I would really recommend you to brush up on mathematical concepts like calculus, derivatives, differential equations and things like that, because you will use them a lot here. Do not like waste your time from the moment you get graduated and then you must be having 6 or 7 months. Do not waste them only on partying. Try to work around like mathematics or any field that you're working on. For example, if you're coming for nursing, learn about the laws here, learn about things like that. So somewhere or the other you should work on that part. And life is not that easy, I would say, as compared to what we had back in India. I mean, back in our country, because we have our family support there. We do not care about the rent that we are paying. We do not care about the cars that we are using. We have all the services to ourselves. Here, you have to start the life from scratch. Like, literally the scratch. So you come with nothing and you have to build up everything on your own. So that requires a lot of patience. You will have a lot of downfalls, lot of upfalls and things like that, but you just have to like sustain through it. So yeah, I talked about life starting from scratch. I would suggest you the first 4 months are pretty, I would say you adjust to a new country. You are adjusting to a new country. So that is like um that is like definitely an important part. But I would suggest you is that explore it. The first 4 months I explored Toronto, I explored Niagara, I went to various places with my friends because it's very important to do that. So I come from a tropical country, and adjusting to a cold country would be a bit harsh, in the beginning. So definitely get your good winter gear, winter boots and things like that. I wouldn't suggest any kind of brands or something, but you should, but think about in this way that invest once for at least 4 or 5 years. I got my boots, my snow boots for around $250, but I'm pretty sure they will be there with me for at least 5 to 6 years. So do not compromise on that, because some of my friends actually got them in $80, $90, and they just stayed for one winter with them. Now they are like tattooed. So winter jacket and your snow boots, these are, and your gloves and things like that. Winter gear is something you should invest once, and it will be with you for at least 4 or 5 years. So do not compromise on that part, I would say that. If your winter jacket is costing you 200, 250, it's absolutely fine, go for it. Because it's either you can get like 2 3 in that quantity, or basically like I have 3 winter jackets, but each of them cost around $170, right? Because sometimes one jacket is not, it's heavily snowed and it's like properly wet and everything. At least you have the second option. So at least have 2 winter jackets and one snow boot, definitely of good quality. Do not compromise on that part, I would say. um then I talked about start studies, part time. I talked about 4 months. I would say the first 4 months are your golden period. You will enjoy, you will make friendships, you will study, you will have parties, you'll enjoy the freedom, and then it should be good. Talk to your family every day. I would suggest you talk to them. Like I talk to my family. The first thing I do in the morning is I talk to them 5 minutes each person, in the sense that okay, my grandmom and then my parents, things like that. So definitely talk to your family, because then you will not feel homesick. If you talk to your family every day, do video calls and things like that, let them know what you are doing, let them know how your day has been, ask them about it. I think it makes a lot of difference, because sometimes your work life is going to be so hectic that you'll not have the time, and then those days are some things where when you feel homesick. So definitely talk to your family every day. I talked about family and everything, and then yes, now let's come to the snowy part of it. So I would say Canada's weather is pretty good, in the sense from a tropical country. When I'm coming from India, it's a tropical country, right? I came in around August, which is like a very blooming and a nice weather kind of thingy, because you can wear a lot of things. You don't need winter jacket as such, but you can just sustain with a normal jacket as well. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. You really enjoy that period. But when it starts snowing, when it kind of gets a bit more harsh winter, I think I actually faced some flu and things like that. So make sure that you cover yourself nicely, even when you're going for winter walks, maybe to your university or things. Definitely put a mask on. It's not for coronavirus or things like that, but it's more like you never know that how. So everything was covered in me, right? Only my face was not covered, and it used to get so red, and it used to get so numb basically. So it's better to put on a mask whenever you're going outside in winter, right? Definitely winters can be a bit gloomy, because now you see greenery everywhere, but in winters it's snow everywhere. Literally everywhere there is snow. I have, and definitely that's why I said you get good boots, because it's snow and there is black ice when the snow melts, and like they have not shoveled it, so there's a high chance that you will fall. And it has happened with me. I did not wear my winter boots, and I just went in like normal boots, and I slipped like two times. So definitely wear your winter boots whenever it's snow outside. That's like just normal experiences that I'm sharing, because as and when you go and you remember the situations that happened, you actually can give better advices to the people who are coming next, right? So yeah, winter could be gloomy, so make sure that you are working hard. Basically find out things that you can do indoors, because you cannot go outdoors a lot. There were stances when our university closed early. Like it used to close around 12, I guess, but it closed around 5 because there were thunder warnings. Definitely keep your weather app on your go to go thingy, because Canada weather changes at any time. It would be snowing in the morning, it would be rainy, it would be sunny, and then all of a sudden it's snowing again. So make sure that you are up to date with all the warning systems and take warnings pretty seriously, because last winter I actually got caught in a snowstorm and it was very bad. It was very bad because in snowstorm even the bus services are interrupted. Your Uber drivers would also not be that much willing to go on roads. So it's better to just be sure of all the snowstorm warnings and be serious about it. Be really serious about it. Bus services here are okay. At least in Waterloo, I can say they are pretty good. They are like it usually 5 minutes delay or early things like that, but that's fine. That's fine. And also we have a tram system which is pretty good. So transportation in Waterloo is not an issue. I am not sure about other aspects of the country, and obviously of the province. I know about Toronto. Toronto is also all right. It's like subways and trams and buses, but yeah, make sure that you are aware of all the things, like your Google Maps. There are certain apps which you should definitely have on go. And yeah, so that part of it. So winter can be gloomy, but you need to find things that you can like basically explore indoors, and yeah, that should be good part of it. um Once your 8 months are done, I guess you get homesick. So a lot of my friends have gone back to their native countries to visit their parents, to visit their family members, but I have stayed back because I feel I am from research, right? So my thinking is this way, that I have like spent 22 long years in India, in my country, and I just came 8 months ago. So my thinking is that instead of going back to that country, to my family, which I meet every day, I would like to explore new places. So I am saving that money to explore new places, new conferences, new workshops. One part about Canada is that you get to like network a lot. So here universities call industry partners to network with you, right? They'll keep conferences, they'll keep TED talks and talks like that, and then you can meet like people from your industry, from maybe your future recruiters, and discuss options with them. So definitely attend all those networking events. They are really important, I would suggest that. And that's my point of view. But if you are homesick and you really want to go home, take the first ticket and just go. Also, one thing I remembered from here, always keep at least that amount of money in your savings account at all times, that in case of any emergency and you are supposed to leave ASAP, you should have that amount at least in your savings. For example, a trip from Canada to India would cost me around 2000, 2300, or 25. Let's keep a limit of 2500. So 2500 is the minimum amount that I should always at all times have in my savings. If your so I would suggest this thing, that have this amount at all times, whether it makes you to do your part time, do it for the sake of money. Have that 2500 or have that minimum amount that is needed at all times. because there have been instances where I have lost a lot of relatives of mine, and sometimes you have to go ASAP. So you should definitely have that amount in hand, and be sure of like whatever you have to go, you will have to go sometimes. I basically asked my family, and my family said that it's not needed, so you can just focus on your studies. So that's also, it depends on family to family. So make sure that you definitely have that amount. In case my family would have said that we need you, I would have gone, right? So it's not like me being selfish, but it's more like I just came to Canada. It was not even like 3 months, and something had happened. So it's a bit difficult for a person who just came as an international student to go back, and then the trauma and everything. So I think it makes sense, but you should always have that money in hand. Yeah. The first 4 months, I think you should explore a lot of places. If you're coming to Ontario, you should go to Ottawa, you should go to Montreal, you should go to Toronto, Niagara Falls. You should definitely explore. I would say you highly explore it ASAP. Whether the temperature is good, you should definitely go outside. Um, Homesickness you'll have to deal with. I told you my solution, that I feel like it's better to save that money and go for career building thingies. Yeah, and that's what my thinking is, but it could be different for you as well. So no comments on that part. So you can, if you want, if you are homesick, definitely go. The first thing in the morning you should do, catch a flight, go to your family, meet them, good, feel good, and come back. Yeah. What else did I write? Yeah, you should network with your people, and I would suggest you that if you are from a corporate field, you should definitely try 4 months in research. If you're from a research field, that's what I was and I am. I would definitely try for a corporate experience, because this is a perfect time to explore, because you are studying. You can like, because your mind is studying and developing, you can pick up new experiences, new techniques, right? If I'm good in research, maybe I'm not good in corporate world. I should know how to like, at least I should have some taste of it. And the same way it goes for the other way as well. So I think that's all my journey throughout. I would say that it has been a hell of a ride. The first 4 months were pretty good. The temperature was good. I was enjoying. Everybody supported, because in the starting, everybody supports you because it's a new beginning for you, right? But as and when you start to like see more hardships, definitely you would be feeling a bit off. But you need to just, so one thing I make myself always remind myself is that I have chosen this path. My family did not say that go to Canada and study. No one said that thing to me. None of my teachers said that thing to me. It was my decision. I have to deal with it. If I am feeling sick, I have to deal with it. If I am feeling homesick, it was my decision to come in the first place. No one forced me. So when you account yourself for all the things, the blaming part would be less. That is one thing I personally feel. So whenever I feel low, that yeah, do I deserve this, I just remind myself that it was my decision in the first go to come to Canada. No one forced me. I had everything in my native country. I had a good I had a good house, I had transportation services, no problem at all. I could have enjoyed a very good life there. But why I came to Canada, it was my decision, because I wanted to prosper my career, I wanted to improve my lifestyle. So think about reasons why you came, instead of blaming yourself or blaming the situations that life is tough. That is something that is true. So you made the decision and you have to deal with it. And with this thought, I think I would like to end the video. I will kind of like, this is a very big video, I think I recorded. I will kind of distribute it into different aspects, and would make a playlist for this one, because no one has time to like go through everything in one go. So yeah, and all the very best if you're coming to Canada, to Ontario, to University of Waterloo. I think I'll be very happy to welcome you and clear any doubts you have. And yeah, in general, that's how life is in Canada. You will have your hardships. Initially you will have your hardships, and yeah, I would also suggest you that usually people think that just getting a car should be a good option, but I would suggest while you are a student, limit yourself in terms of the luxury, because the more luxury you'll get, the more you have to pay. So yeah, that's that part of it. And with this I would end the video. Wish you all the best, and I'm so excited if you're coming to Canada.